what's going on out there, YouTube? This is Samuel Leggett representing JVS. So I'm back here again for another TV show premiere review. This is a show called Carnival Row, and I'm going to be very quick about this because I'm not doing anything but just these reviews. I'm going to try to keep it as short and to the point as possible. I'm going to go through a quick synopsis of what the show is supposed to be about. A human detective and a fairy rekindle a dangerous affair in a Victorian fantasy world where the city's uneasy peace collapses when a string of murders reveals an unimaginable monster. And ironically, the name of this episode is Some Dark Gods Awaits. This first episode was actually pretty good. I would say the standout would definitely be Orlando Bloom. His character Philo, or Ryancroft, how's it pronounced? Philo Strait, I think that's the name. Philo is a very different character in the terms of, like, normally Orlando Bloom is like kind of like the pretty boy, where he's got like a little bit of edge to him on this one. Like, he is a good cop trying to do the right thing, but he's working out in the guise of a detective within an agency that is kind of possibly corrupt. He doesn't really know because he's just trying to figure out where it happens with these murders. He's assigned to the case. But then you got an interesting cast. Actually, a pretty good cast, to be honest with you. You got let me go through the cast listing for you. So for the cast listing, you got the vets in this one, and Jared Harris. Of course, you got Orlando Bloom. You got Cara, Delevingne, and you got Indra Varmiya. Indra, if you remember from Luther, and then of course Game of Thrones, and she's been on something recently. She's a really talented actress as well. But it's really interesting to see where this is all going to go. Jared Harris plays roles of Bradenson. He doesn't really do that much in terms of this episode, but I see he's going to be very important, intricate, because he's basically working in the guise of the head of the Senate, or head of the city, so to speak, not necessarily in a mayor role. And then you got Vignette, played by Cara, and the thing about it, the opening shot of this was really well done, because what it did was it set the tone for how violent and messed up things really are. They do play the card on, like, oppression, prejudice, slavery. Like, it's all written and interwoven in this. I'm not sure if this is actually coming from an actual source material, or this is something this was just come up. But definitely everybody that is of a fantasy element is considered a minority, and basically are held in regards of less than animals, essentially. I think they even refer to them like piglets or pigs. And people just are oppressing them, abusing them, using them into prostitution, slaving them, everything you can kind of think of. And the first episode does set the tone for that. But I mean, when you see the very first shot and she's kind of running and the death is just all around her and what she had to do to even survive that, and then what happens to her with the ship, like, you feel for her instantaneously. I think that the only thing that I would say would be a negative is when she did a fight scene. They tried to make it really cool, but it wasn't choreographed as well, and it was kind of slow motion. But I don't know. I don't think it was done as well as it could have. The other thing about this, it wasn't as interesting of a catch, like kind of grabbing me like this, as I hoped it would be from the beginning, from the point that she, jumped on the boat till a certain moment in the third act, and I'll get to that in a second. It wasn't like eye-catching. It's kind of like, I've kind of seen this before, like, all right, let's kind of draw this along. It's like more like, all right, when is Orlando Bloom coming back on? When is his arc going to go through? And not that her arc isn't any interesting. It's just they didn't utilize her. They kind of use her as surrounding noise. Like, they show, her and who she used to know, her being in the situation that she's in. And it's sad. I mean, it's messed up. All of it is really messed up. It just wasn't, grabbing, what I'm saying? Whereas, like, Orlando Bloom, there's one moment in the second act that he goes to this action moment, and you're kind of like, whoa, what is really going on? And then the moment that Orlando Bloom's character meets Kara's character, Stonemoss, that is the most interesting part of this whole entire episode, because there's so much there. There's so many amazing acted moments, and so much hate, passion, everything you can think of is in one shot in the third act of this episode. That is what wants me, provoking me to go to the next episode. I think that was the highlight of the episode, sadly. But it was not to say this wasn't a good episode. I just think that was the highlight, and if it keeps to that tone, like, allow them to go and riff off each other, because they play off of each other very well. It's not even just a chemistry level. Like, you can just feel that there's a lot of tension in the air, and I think I love every second of them together, even more so than just Orlando Bloom and his arc. And then the final shot, which is even more interesting, I'm like, what is going on? But hopefully you guys did enjoy this review. If I had to give it a episode number, I'd probably say 7 out of 10, maybe 7.5. I did enjoy it. There was some good things about it, but it still hasn't grabbed me yet. But that one moment between Philo and his past, it was very good. I did like that part. Alright, talk to you guys later. Keep it locked. JVS, we ain't gonna stop. Till next episode. Peace, guys.